Hi, welcome to another episode of the Investor's Guide to Hard Money Lending, brought to you by CoreLend Financial. I'm your host, Alyssa Fowler, and today we have from CoreAssist, Michelle Amon here with us. She's also been a realtor for a long time as well, so and excited to have her on to kind of share what CoreAssist does, how it can help with real estate in many different facets. So, Michelle, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Alyssa. I'm glad to be here. I have been in Memphis real estate for 23 years, almost 24, but I've been on the retail side, and it has just been an invigorating process. A lot of ups and downs in the world of real estate.
Yes, especially now.
Oh, yeah, today is very challenging. I talked to a friend of mine who's a realtor, and he said it is so slow, months without showings. He had another realtor call him who had a house listed down the street. This is all out in the Collierville, Arlington area, Lansing, Monterey. And he said it's been 3 months since he's had a showing. It's crazy. I even went through the 2007, 8, 9 markets. 10, it started getting a little bit better. And this is worse than then. And I didn't think a market could ever be this bad.
It is. It's tough right now. It's challenging. We're still trying to, finding ways for our borrowers to win, with our wholesalers to win with these agents here at CoreLend with the hard money. Tell me, how is something like, what is CoreAssist? What does it do? How does it help within whatever aspect of real estate you're in?
CoreAssist virtual staffing. What we do is we have RTMs, remote team members, located in the Philippines. And what they do is they help with what we call the busy work, which will help you leverage your time in the major things that you need to do. Because I know you're a production person, and you have to focus on actually producing, closing loans. And I'm sure that, because this was before me, because I've only been here a couple of months, you had several RTMs who help you primarily with all your paperwork and help you streamline your time to get toward more production.
Yes, and you are exactly right, because pretty much in my role, I'm the salesperson. I'm the face of where I talk to the people. Well, if I'm bogged down with all the paperwork and going through the admin pieces, then that's less time that I'm talking to people. I'm on the phone. So yes, my RTMs, we just recently hired another one, because my 2 that I already had were so bogged down. It was like, Are they not doing their jobs? No, we just needed another one because to be able to handle the process, to keep things streamlined. And so that's where you're able to scale up pretty quickly with these VAs. We have one of ours has been here with us 5 years now. So,
do you know, I ran a few weeks ago, I had them break out the spreadsheets of our RTMs a little differently. And I had them tell us the average time that Crestcore Realty, i.e. CoreAssist, the longevity of our RTMs. Industry standard is 1.5 to 2. 3.3 years is what we've got, and a lot of that is because I think that it's such a top-down approach from management, and people like it here. They like the system, they like the culture, and we foster that, as you know from having been here so long. But it's just a phenomenal number, and it's exciting considering there's another way we're breaking industry markets.
And I would agree with that. It is, and you're going to this with people using hard money. A lot of times they're trying to scale up their businesses. They're trying to grow. They might start with one property using hard money because they've got enough for a couple 25% down payments, but they don't have enough for like 10, 25% down payments on properties. So they go through us to people start scaling up. Well, as they start scaling up, it's okay, that becomes more work to the point where one person can't necessarily do it. And that's where I think an RTM comes into play, is it helps you're able to scale up your business quickly. But you talk about the industry standard being like 1.5 years, and we're that much higher. The cost of that turnover
is huge.
So tell me a little bit about what CoreAssist does to where it is different on the trainings. Like, say if you do lose an RTM or and you have to get a new one, what does CoreAssist kind of do differently than other companies to kind of keep that seamless, or where it's not a blip or not a kind of an interruption in your day-to-day business?
Here's what I have found with CoreAssist and the way that they hire is unbelievably phenomenal. Because several years ago, and I'm going to answer your question, several years ago when I was in retail real estate and I was very, very busy, I tried to level up with VAs. The process was horrible. They didn't screen. They didn't give me people that were qualified. What they did was just poked a body in a chair. And then I had one who helped me do lead follow-up with calling, and he was great. He was absolutely great. Got no results. However, he did make the calls, or so he told me. And then all of a sudden, one day, he literally went MIA. He worked for himself. He lived in the Philippines, and he went MIA. So when I interviewed for the job and this came up, I was asked the question, are you going to be, since you've had bad experiences, are you open to good? Absolutely. I have been absolutely stunned by the Philippine culture. I have been stunned by, Alyssa, as you know, with 3 RTMs, their work ethic is mind-blowing at how much they want to work. So how do we do this? First thing that we do is we drew a job description. If you have a hard money lender and he wants to come and say, Alyssa, I heard your podcast. You're in Michelle. I think I want to check into that. Great. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over a job description. What do you need? What are your pain points? Tell me what your strengths are. And so I do an analysis, kind of like a SWOT analysis on the front end. Then what happens is when we start interviewing, it goes to our team. We have a back-end team of a full-time recruiter. We have a manager of RTMs who's wonderful. And what they do is they start going into their strategy of placing that person. So now they start recruiting for this hard money lender. Then what they do once they've gotten them in, I love the role alignment index. We use that. And here's what we do differently than I would venture to say most companies. Not only do we have our client do a role alignment index, we have our VAs do one, and it aligns perfectly with what the manager's traits are, the skill set is, what they require, where their strengths and the weaknesses are, and we match that with an RTM. And I've not seen that. Of course, I haven't done much deep diving into the competition because it's very, very difficult. Considering they don't hardly, you can't even talk to a human being. And that's another place that it's different, is I'm always available. I've got a Calendly link, I've got a phone number, I will talk to you. It doesn't have to be scheduled. I'm here. We do high tech, high touch. So those are a lot of the things that we do differently, regardless if you're a hard money lender, or regardless if you're a property manager, or just if someone's watching this who is just a general manager of any company, we help you streamline what you are doing.
Well, and I can see that, like, say when we recently hired another one for me, it was finding where are these, and a wholesaler can do this. They say they're out there trying to hustle and get a deal under contract and get a deal. So it's constantly, they're trying to find more deals. Well, what if there's not the follow-up? So you've got to find where your pain point in your business, where you're missing this, like capturing some of this business. And that's what we did with our latest one that we brought in. It was like, hey, we need somebody right here. We're having a bottleneck in this aspect,
right,
because
exactly.
I've got my other RTM. Their role is they're really good at this, and I need them to focus on this. But it's like if you ever watch the movie Up and you have Doug the dog and you see squirrel, and so then they've got to go. I've given them this other task that has taken them away,
right.
and that it doesn't seem like it's that big, but it's really taken about 30 minutes out of their day so that they go refocus. And so once we brought on that new one of exactly where we wanted her to be in that spot, it started to where we were having applications we were almost doubling the amount of applications we were getting in front of loan committee.
And that is what virtual assistants do, or RTMs, remote team members do, is because I come from a production background. When I first graduated from college, my background was investment banking, where we had salespeople and traders. This was years ago. We were a big dealer bank. Everyone in there was a production person. So therefore, I managed all the support people for the production people. Then I got into real estate, which is production sales too. This is what RTMs do, is they strengthen the back of a production person.
Right. And the same could go to say for contractors, because we have a lot of contractors that work within us. Well, they're constantly trying to get more business to get another job or to scale up and have more jobs and more crews going. And where it seems like their time is not best suited sending an invoice or sending this, or just like we said, the admin paperwork. They are out there to try to measure the job. They're trying to do that and get to that next job site. You make sure that the one job site they've got going is progressing. And so, but then if they're also the one doing all that back end paperwork, there's a lot of balls in the air. What ball is there's going to be a ball dropped.
There's going to be, or more balls. There's going to, yeah, that's going to be dropped.
And so why not have somebody there that can keep one of those balls from dropping or multiple balls from dropping?
Right, exactly. And that's what VAs will do. It's funny because last week I had lunch with a prospect, and he knows he needs help. He knows he needs it because he talked about how he's running around and putting all these fires out and doing everything, and he can't do it. And then it's prohibiting some of his, he likes to travel, it's prohibiting some of that. And I asked him the question, I said, tell me what you think you need. I don't know. Oh, but yeah, I need help. It was that real, I don't know, but yes, I know I need help. So I looked at him and I said, do you not know where to start? And he said, no. And I said, I see that with the people that I'm talking to. They know they need help, but they don't know how to start. And that's what I do, which I believe is different than the competitors, because the competitors, I've been online, I've looked, bot here, non-human touch. And that's different with me because as I said earlier, I'm human touch. So I said to him, I said, well, how about if we do this? Why don't I talked to him, I've asked him some more pointing questions. I said, let me put together a job description or a list of duties. But here's what I'm going to task you with. I want you to open a separate page in your phone, use your notes, in your iPad, use a piece in your iPad. And when you hit something that you're doing that A, you don't like to do, B, you realize it's clerical, C, you really don't want to do it, D, you know you have to, write it down. Because more than likely that task can be delegated to an RTM.
There's your job description.
There's your job description. Yeah. And then I use ChatGPT to help me develop the job descriptions. And then I pass them off to Ace and to Robin, who are the recruiter and the manager of our team. And they work on it. We formulate it. And then we start hiring for that. But there's a starting piece, is that people who are going to use RTMs, they don't know where to start. And that's what I do, is I provide that piece and help them. And I'm basically their prompter. And because I've been in all facets of corporate business and understand how it works, it's pretty easy for me to do, to help them through. And it's very rewarding too, to come up with the end goal.
I bet. I mean, they can be lifesavers, and it's truly allowed us to scale up at CoreLend as well. Having these, we keep gaining members of our team, but it allows us to process more applications, to keep moving forward, to keep doing things that are more marketing versus being just behind the screen, to be out forward facing and customer facing versus, like I said, buried in a book or buried in an Excel spreadsheet.
And a lot of times what I see, and this isn't hard money, it's people in America. You know, years ago in one of the seminars, I always learned about A work plus B work. B work is non-productive work. It doesn't help you make money. It's a necessary evil, but you're not making money. A work is where you're making money. Where are you focusing your time? And I know even with me, what I've done sometimes is I focused on B work just so I can, in my head, justify being busy. But is what I'm doing making me money? And that's the goal. And that's what RTMs are, is they do your B work, whereas you do your A work. And therefore, like you said, to your point, you're processing more applications and actually getting in front of more people.
And that's the key. And it can be where you say you are You tell me, because you within all of this, within real estate investing, in the investment side, not the retail side, your property management is a big key. Like, how can that help with, if you're even managing your own properties, you're an investor and you have this, how can an RTM help you within that piece of helping you manage your properties?
Oh, that's a big one, Alyssa, because I know that we've got 68, 75, and this varies depending upon where they work within our system. And the majority of them work on the property management side, and they do maintenance requests, they do tenant collections, they do tenant placement, they do the leases, they do so many things where they multitask to help get these things accomplished. And, the end goal is happy tenants, happy clients. Now, it's not a perfect world, but that's what you can do. And there's a whole lot more bookkeeping. I know we have several that do bookkeeping. We have executive assistants. We have a plethora of different skill set and different talents that we place RTMs.
And that can be scaled based on, even if you're a self-managing landlord.
It doesn't matter.
It can be that because how many people want to write up their own leases? Like, where that is an admin thing. That is B work right there. It's necessary. You have to have it because you get the lease in place. But, or even if you're self-managing properties, and that's what a lot of our borrowers do, like especially our local ones, they self-manage their properties. They're trying to get another bridge loan because they found this property. They're gonna refinance out into a DSCR loan. Well, but they still got a day job,
right?
And so once they get to a certain amount, they can't. Once again, we're talking about balls being juggled in the air. Something's going to drop once they get to that certain amount of properties, and I think that's where having an RTM could definitely help them, of where they can keep scaling while they still keep their day job, but they're still building their rental portfolio. Versus,
and we can start them part-time. They can use someone part-time. Our VAs go to work at 8:30 at night, U.S. time, and they get off in the morning. So they work on our time schedule. I've not seen any problems with the fluency. And again, they are so absolutely smart. It is crazy how smart they are and how their work ethic is. So see, all of that in play can help that manager who is starting to invest in these properties, can help them accelerate their growth by doing all of this B work.
You are 100% right, because a lot of these people too that are trying to, they've got their career tier, they're building a rental portfolio for, say, retirement. And I've noticed from a lot of our borrowers, a lot of the ones that are doing that, well, they've never been involved in it's been a long time since they've been involved in the B work. These are people that are sales managers. And so that is not their area of expertise.
And it's a hard transition, particularly if they had one where they used to delegate to, and now they're having to do it themselves, because then they get bogged down.
So it seems like an RTM, well, they'll still have somebody to delegate to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And our RTMs have the property management experience, have real estate experience. In your case, they have lender experience. They have mortgage experience, because I know that there's several more that CoreLend uses, and they all have the mortgage or a component closing title. They all have that experience. And one of the reasons that they do so well is because of our role alignment index, and because we do experience, and because of the way that we screen them with interviews, resumes, interviews, English fluency, both written and spoken. And then we do you have actually the opportunity to interview 3 people, usually 2 to 3 people. And you actually, as the manager, you have the final call.
Yes. And I will say, we're talking about, like, it's kind of like the CI cultural index, like, of you're filling out a survey, you're answering questions of what you won that role, and it puts this kind of what they look like, what their personality traits are in work and when personal. And like, I know when we hired this last one, I'm like, I want a Mandy, which, if people don't know, within CoreLend, Mandy.
Oh yeah, Mandy's great.
Mandy, you say you need a report, you say you need something, it is there and it's accurate. And so Richie and I both filled out the thing. He goes, yes, you do. You want a craftsman. And so we get one. She's phenomenal. And she has the experience, and because you listen to so much of what we needed in that role. She's fitting in seamlessly into that role and being a benefit versus just like you said before, hiring a warm body.
Yeah, I really went through that. It was bad. It was bad. And that's what the difference is. I've been working, when I got here about 2 months ago, I realized there were some things that needed to be done on the marketing side. So I came in with a gusto and started with my plan, if you will. And we have developed a lot of different wonderful things. And they've been laborious. They've been time consuming. They've required unbelievable detail, which I have Kat for that. And a lot of graphics, which those were Cass and Noel. What they've done for me, Alyssa, is they've taken probably about a 6-month project. And literally on the 2-month date, we were done. And that's phenomenal.
Once again, just speed and efficiency. And because
speed and efficiency, yes.
For anything in real estate, time is money. I mean, it is. And so the faster you can get things moved through, the faster you can scale up, the faster you can implement this new process, the better off, the more that's going to turn into dollars in your pocket. Whether it be closing a real estate transaction, whether it be wholesaling something, getting it there, whether it be in property management, getting a tenant placed quicker. Because we're in a city like Memphis, we don't want property sitting there vacant for 6 months.
Right.
So it's where these RTMs, that's their responsibility. They are constantly working on that, to where I feel like it is just, it keeps things moving, streamlining. So every time a property is vacant, that's dollars out of your pocket. Every time it sits on a market, that's dollars. Every time it takes where, okay, I can't get in to inspect that property for 3 weeks versus because I haven't been able to get somebody on the phone, where you've got somebody that's there, not in the field or not customer facing, to where they can continually move things forward and move things along.
So it doesn't matter if you're an investor, whether you're a property manager, whether you're a mortgage person, whomever. I mean, virtual assistants cover a lot of different industries, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. We've got VAs who can help you, and with the whole bottom line being, Alyssa, my goal is to make you more productive. My goal is to put more money in your pocket by freeing up your time so you can work on A work and not the B work.
Absolutely. And I'd also say, you go back to saying where within this company, within 6AMCC, Crestcore, CoreLend, our average is 3.3 something years of service. I'll say a lot of that goes to the culture of how you treat they are your employees. They are human beings out there. And it's so you incentivize them. Like, you want to scale up, they're making, okay, so you made this much more off the deal that they provided. Incentivize them, offer them bonuses, offer them get to know them as your real people. Because if they feel like they're a part of the team, they really belong, versus like, oh, they're just over there. They're not real because they're not right in front of me. No.
Yeah. And that was, even though I knew they were real people, because I've been familiar with VAs probably 15 years, but understanding and putting the face to the body. And now it's gotten to where I know how many kids Kat has. I know what her husband does. I know, Cass and Noel are getting married. And to put that face with the human and then combine it with their culture, which is just, their culture is so kind. And so they want to please. All they want to do is make you happy. That's all they want to do. And that's a culture, because they're all of them are like that. And I've fallen in love with the Philippine culture. Absolutely fallen in love with it.
And no, that's just a way that they're a way that, I mean, they're part of your team. At the end of the day, they're part of your team just as much. They're helping you win. They're helping you move forward, advance your goals, because I think everybody that gets into investing, they have a goal in mind. They have something they want to do, and they use many different avenues to do it, whether it be with hard money, whether it be traditional lenders, but I think a lot of people forget the key that once you get to a point to really scale up to utilize, I need more people, I need more manpower.
Right, need more. And this is an inexpensive, because that manpower from the Philippines who are doing all your B work is, I'm just saying this, I would imagine it's only about quarter to a third of what you'd pay a U.S. worker. Yes, we all need U.S. workers. I get that. But when you've got all of this, when you've got all of the nuances of this itty bitty, and you and I both know that in our business, it's the itty bitty details that will trip you up.
Oh, and they're the ones that catch me all the time, and they
Yes.
keep me. It's like they are integral. Like I could not do this without them.
Right. And they're so kind about it, aren't they, Alyssa?
Absolutely. Yes, they are.
I have one day I was telling her to send an email. I said, let's send this email, blah, blah. And I'm real to the point. I just real direct. She's so sweet. She said, can I put kindly, will you send this to us? And I said, absolutely. It literally just warms me with the love that they have and the love that they service us with is just unbelievable. And you feel it, or at least I do with my team. But I've worked hard to foster that kind of relationship with them. We meet every morning in 8:30 huddle. We talk about yesterday. We talk about what we're going to accomplish today. And then many times during the day, Kat and I work very, very closely together and do a lot of meetings. But I don't even talk to Cass and Noel through the day. I get an end of the day report and all is good. So it's absolutely been wonderful watching this evolve. And then even more exciting is me marketing their services because I know how much it's going to help. I mean, it's just crazy because I've experienced it.
And I view this as kind of like where a lot of people have looked at, they're kind of scared of hard money at first. And then when you explain it to them, you go forward like, oh, yeah, I can absolutely use that. I view this in the same way with an RTM. It's like, It's scary. The unknown is scary.
Very scary. Very scary. And I'm seeing that people want to come in and they want to be able to use the RTM. Bam, bam, okay, they're already trained. But what I'm working on is educating managers that, look, y'all have some responsibility with this too. Because an RTM, yes, we have screened them. We have checked to make sure that they meet all your criteria. We have checked all that. Now, you've interviewed them and you seem to find a fit. We've done the role alignment index. So what we do is we seem to know that it's going to be a fit. But you as the manager have to train them. It's like your new one. When you got your new one, you had to train her. Here's the way I like things done.
Now my RTM is so good. I have another one training the new one.
Oh, wow. See how phenomenal that is?
I like to delegate.
Well, I like to delegate too. I understand that. But, okay, so in this situation, what if we take that you've got another person that I'm talking to, and he's got existing U.S. staff. One of the things that he can do is delegate to those people to come in and say, here's how we like things done. Here are the specific reports that we do. Here's how you line this up, and here's where how you execute these different tasks, like the company wants it. So there is some of that is going to need to be done. But once you do that, it's like, if you hire a U.S. worker, you're going to be paying a whole lot more, and you still have to go through that learning curve and that teaching curve.
And I think what some people don't grasp too, they could be thinking like, oh, it is a completely, you can't extrapolate the U.S. to the Philippines when it comes to cost of living and versus cost of living here for what those salaries could be. Because with these, I would say it's a very competitive salary in the Philippines of what they're being paid. Mm-hmm. So I don't want people to think that, oh, they're going and just getting cheap labor, and it's not that.
No, it's not that, because I had one of them tell me the other day, I don't remember what we were talking about, but he told me, he said the opportunity that we have, he said, while we don't live, he didn't say this word, but I'm from the South. He said, we don't live fancy. We don't live upscale, but we live better than most in the Philippines. So see, it's like we're actually helping them with their family, with their goals, with their dreams. And they love it. They absolutely love it.
Which goes to the longevity of keeping them. But yes, I'm making a joke where, yes, one of my RTMs who's been in the role for quite some time.
I love that.
She's the one training because I wanted to take some of the responsibility. She had too much on her. And too much.
Well, yeah.
So it's like, okay, you train her. I'm like, you're not training your replacement. You are training because
Right.
we need more
Right.
we need more people.
Right.
I need you to do what you're really good at. and focus on it and that we can add.
So she trained them in the way that she likes things done.
And the way we like things done.
She does things your way or it wouldn't be working. The synergy wouldn't be working. So now she's trained them in her way, i.e. your way. And that's what fosters incredible work flow for you. As again, I go back to, you are a production person. If you're sitting here doing B work, and sometimes in your business, C work, D work, E work, you're not making money, Alyssa.
And that's the end of the day. I mean, that's the end of the day. We're all sitting here trying to provide for our families or create a legacy as we try to scale up our businesses and keep moving forward. It's building for the future.
Absolutely. It really is. And I think it's just working for CoreAssist through Crestcore Realty. Management here has been unbelievable. I loved my job in investment banking years ago. I loved it, loved the culture. It was a different culture, trust me. But I love the culture. The culture here is unbelievable, and it's all top down. Management walks the walk, talks the talk. And it's been a surreal experience for me. The whole thing has. And I look forward to many more years of it continuing to be surreal.
Well, good. Well, we appreciate you having you on, Michelle.
You.
So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.